you're going to get stronger every day. Let's hear it. Are you all going to do that? Yes. So you got to make that your goal. Don't let anybody talk to you any different. You don't need, yes, it's great if you can believe in spirit or believe in that there's a world that's much bigger than us. It helps you get the size of who you are. But just make the commitment that I'm not going to be held back anymore. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Dr. Barry Morguelan. As you can see, I'm so excited to be here with you all because I've got so much to download in 40 minutes, so pay attention. But I mean, did you know that they did a poll of all the people coming to this biohacking conference and other biohacking conferences, and the majority of people reported that they have anxiety over not knowing what to do. You know, there's so many things out there. I mean, do I attach a machine on my leg? Do I put a machine on my back? Do I carry one here? Do I have to take supplements all day long? What do I have to do to be able to make it happen? You know, there's so many things. And then which one's the right one for me? And where do I focus my attention to really be, you know, so that I get the benefit that I want? Well, what if there was a program, set of practices that you could do simply that would allow you to be your own guru, your own physician, turn yourself, all your own sensors on, and just took a short amount of time per day? What if there was a program that you didn't have to take, you know, you didn't have to reach outside yourself, but actually was within yourself, like Vishen was saying, that I can have you discover today, and with the programs, that on the spot, on command, whether it's in business or whether you're going to find out in creative arts or whether it's in health or in performance, or you don't know what yet, but finding out your best you all the time and having longevity, what if that was possible? Would that be interesting to you? Yes? You'd rather have a machine that you carry around with you all the time, one of those big bulky things, or take supplements all the time? No. What if you were free to go and do whatever you wanted to do, because you're an individual? So you don't have to wait. It's here now. The Energy for Success, the program that I'm bringing you today, and that we have outside in the booth, and you should please visit us, is a program that has over 70,000 testimonials of people you'll see from every walk of life, people that are scientists, people that are athletes, wonderful people, biohackers, who love the results, because you're able to be your own guru, be your own person who turns on your own sensors so that you can be your best all the time. And not only do we have people who can do that, but we have reports that the majority of people who go through this program have, almost everyone says they reduce 75% of their anxiety for everything. In other words, they just become super able to focus and function. I mean, what do we hear all the time when we talk about people who interact? The number one problem, according to Diane Sawyer and a lot of other people who are on the news, they said, people don't listen. I mean, did you ever talk to your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your spouse, your employee, your employer? If you talk to them, what happens? You know, you have to keep repeating yourself because people are not in present time. And then to get in present time, a lot of people think that you've got to do all this work, or you have to keep sitting and meditating, or you have to struggle. Forget that. Or you have to pay tons of money. No, forget that. What you need to do is discover what's within you. And once you find out what's within you, then you don't have to reach without you, and then you're yourself. So I want you to know that this program is set up for you, and what's exciting about it is that this is just what number of people, Vishen already said it, so I'm really glad that he came up, but as you can see, so many people, why have so many people like Tony Robbins and Dave Asprey said, and other people said that they didn't think that anything like this could be possible? Well, I'm a gastroenterologist, an endoscopic surgeon. Does anybody know what that is? Medical doctor. I used to wear a white coat all the time, just like Vishen said. And the joy in that was that we were really doing a good job. This is about 30 years ago, because I didn't have to cut people open anymore. And I used to be a chest surgeon before that. So, you know, that was opening up this part. So now we did it with just scopes, and it was wonderful, except so many patients, so many people sick. And I kept going from the emergency room up to the top floor, then to the ICU. And I was working 16 hours a day, doing great work, but there was just patient after patient. So then I'll never forget, I was going, this is not going to really move the needle for my entire life. So one day, as Vishen knows, I went into this one lady's room who I was all excited. You always save the best patient for last to say goodbye to before you leave the hospital, sort of leave on a high. And so her name was Mrs. Rodriguez, and I knew her family. She's sort of a portly woman. I knew the big family, and I said, Ms. Rodriguez, you're well. We took your tumor out. You're fine. You can go eat. You can go do whatever you want. Go meet your family. Maybe you'll make me some pupusas, if you know what that is. She, instead of opening her arms and hugging me, she said, sit on the bed. Have you ever seen a patient or your mother go, sit here? Sit here. I got the signal. So I went, okay. She's Spanish is her first language, but I speak Spanish. So anyway, we sat there and she said, this is wonderful that I got to see you. And finally I got to see you. But do you know how many doctors I went through before to get to see you? And this is before the system is now, the medical system now is even more broken, right? You're aware of that. Your system is, they don't even make a political statement about it anymore. They just go, it's over. They've sort of handed it over to whoever is a mercantile person, and you shouldn't trust that. That's why I'm glad you all are all here with Vision and here with biohacking, and you're going to learn so much, but you got to pick the right thing for you. So she said, it took months, and they didn't know what was wrong with me. Yes, you're a specialist, coronary specialist, and I had to go through so many doctors to finally get to you, and you knew what it was, and you fixed it, but I've been hurting for so long. Is there something else that could be done with the medical system so it doesn't take so long? I hurt for so long. And I took her hand and went, I've been thinking the same thing. I think that it does take too long. I wish you never had to get sick. Can you imagine? I wish that instead of life as one of the major tenets that you all have to accept when you come on this planet, when you're born, is that sort of life starts at this young age and then continues on like this? No, it continues on like that and goes down and down and down until finally people are like, they're walking around arthritic and they can't move. And what happens is people just don't look at those people. But the problem is the focus of life is that it deteriorates. And I said, that's enough of that. I'm going to find the opposite, because I knew from my training in physics was that there's always an isomer that's the opposite that will make things work. And you're going to learn about that with the yin-yang symbol from Lao Tzu. I'm going to show you that. So the point is that I was so excited about finding it, but I didn't know what it was. Just like you're out there in the field there, and you don't know what it is or what the thing is that's going to be right for you. But I wanted something where you could be your own doctor, that I had now transported to you the opportunity to go, okay, it's morning time, turn everything on, And is that possible? And so you can imagine, since I was head of the department at one of the hospitals I was working at, all the other surgeons would come by and they go, did you find it yet? You're looking for the fountain of youth? You're an idiot. You're just lucky you're the top of the department. Otherwise we'd throw you out. Just like Vishen said, they were always going, there's no way, there's no way that you should be doing this. You should just be doing surgery. It's contraband. Just like you said, you got one star on people wanting to be interested in something that is, you thought previously wasn't as powerful as someone cutting you and sewing you back up, which I was an expert at, but see what happens, see what I found. So I went on a tour, and every 3 months on my own ticket, I spent as much money as I had, almost everything, and I traveled around the world. So where did I go? So Einstein says nothing happens until something moves. I decided to start moving, right? Now that's what you're doing here at the biohacking conference. You're here moving, you're going to see Vishen's conference, you see Ben's conference. They're all clients of mine. I love these people. Why? Because they're getting the results. But you won't get results until you make a move, until you make a choice. And it really doesn't matter what you've learned from books. How many people have gone through high school, college, graduate school, postgraduate school, other degrees, been in business for a long time, had the school of hard knocks, and yet it's what you know, but it doesn't really matter until you can do something with it. I want you to be able to do something to turn yourself on and then go out and live your life in terms of making money, being successful, being happy. So unfortunately, this is what you're fed in the world we live in, which I call the Matrix. The Matrix, which they made a nice movie about, that's another story. You are fed every day in life that you're in crisis. Are you aware of that? If you turn on the radio right now, what's the chance you're going to hear a crisis in social media or anywhere else? About 90%, right? And then maybe at the end they'll have a cat story. or a dog story. But the point is, there isn't anything about you that is in crisis. When it comes to humans, it's terrible. So the wonderful thing that you need to know is that in this discipline, although crisis has danger in it, there's always an equal and better opportunity. As a matter of fact, there's a slogan that goes with that. What's the slogan? Every day, things get easier and easier, more fun, and without any difficulty. You'll see that we have so many things that you can be able to find. So I went to China, and I finally made it to China, but it took 7 years. Now, why did it take 7 years? Because I took this trip all over everywhere. So it's just like I want to enforce for all of you that I know that every day you wake up and you don't know all the right answers. And you wish you did, and that causes angst. But when you're in the zone, and when you're in flow, you can pick, choose, make the right decisions. Like a basketball player, you know where you're going, and you can move around people, and it really doesn't matter because you know you're going to put it in the basket, right? So what if every single thing you wanted to do in life was just like Michael Jordan, just like someone who really wanted to make it happen? Well, it didn't happen right away. So take a deep breath. Deep breath, and get ready to travel every 3 months for 7 years. So I averaged about 160,000 miles around the globe when it wasn't even popular to travel. And so the places I went was in South America and Africa. I was down there and studied with shamans down there. I was a shaman down here. I used to show the shaman pictures, but nobody believes it until they see all the long hair and the pain on my face. But I wanted to learn all the other ways of healing. So I actually learned, believe it or not, acupuncture, acupressure, herbology, and as far as how many people have played around with plant-based medicine, okay? And my friends in the next room with mushrooms, it's all good stuff. But you need to know the stuff that we were working with was right off the tree. It was completely non-pharmaceutical grade. We would have leaves this big that we would just burn or roll and make into all kinds of herbal concoctions and try them. And the only trouble was you can't bring it back to UCLA. You do get a high, you do feel better, but then you come down the next day and you don't feel as good, do you? So although alcohol, sugar, all those things release either dopamine or acetylcholine or serotonin that gives you a benefit, but the system won't tolerate it because you're not getting stronger every day. If you're going to remember anything from today, you want to reverse that curve of what the culture is telling you that you're going to keep going down, and the doggone, you're going to get stronger every day. Let's hear it. Are you all going to do that? Yes. So you got to make that your goal. Don't let anybody talk to you any different. You don't need, yes, it's great if you can believe in spirit or believe in that there's a world that's much bigger than us. It helps you get the size of who you are. But just make the commitment that I'm not going to be held back anymore. No more as far as my getting strong and healthy. So in all the places I went, Russia, throughout the United States, up and down the coast, discovered so many different things in Southwest United States with the indigenous people. It was wonderful. The only thing was I still didn't find what I wanted. And so finally, 7 years later, I'm in China. Now, when I went to China, it's not like now. So do you see the clothes you're wearing? Nobody wore those clothes. Everybody, can you imagine an entire room where everybody's wearing the same clothes? They were all government issue from Mao Zedong, which he'd relieved the country of their government. And so they're all wearing buttons down the center. And everybody, when I went there, I rode around in a rickshaw. Yeah, rickshaw, and there was very few cars, and it was exciting. However, I still didn't find what I want. But here is a picture of me. This is all Chinese writing. Those of you, how many people speak Mandarin here? You can read all the writing. It shows, here I am doing surgical procedures, which is why Vishen says I'm crazy, because I wouldn't stop. And I don't want you to stop either until you get what you want to have in life. I want you to get self-realization. I'm not kidding. Without getting the big self, it's not worth it. It's just not worth it. You're just doing what somebody else told you or what your mind told you. But when you're being your total self and you're actually getting stronger, more powerful every day, actually getting younger, which is actually the name of this energy for success in China, which is called Get Younger Energy, that you don't need to go through these surgeries. You actually can heal yourself. Is that interesting? Yes. Good. All right. So where does it come from? It comes from this wonderful diagram. This diagram is a yin-yang symbol. Is anybody familiar with it? I'll quickly go over it, but as you'll notice that a genius, Lao Tzu, you can look him up, although he didn't write except one little tiny book himself, and which is why I had to go back and forth for 20 years in China to finally translate all this. He actually came up with the quantum physics way back when, 5,000 years ago. Isn't that amazing? And Einstein even refers to him. And what's so wonderful is that the usage of his techniques is what you're going to learn now.